Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we are just going to be talking about the Just Desserts and Vampy Treats palettes that I had received in my Ice Cream Beauty box. I just wanted to make a separate video because I didn't really feel like I had enough time to talk about those palettes in that video. That's why we're doing that. So this video will include 3 looks, one for each palette, plus a bonus look with this look using both the palettes in conjunction. Of course, there are like many more looks that I could do with these palettes, so more than likely in the future I will be doing shorts, things like that, playing with these palettes, so definitely keep an eye out for that. But let's go ahead and get started. I think I'm going to start first with some swatches, and then we will go ahead and jump into our looks. So just jumping in, I'm going to start off with the Just Desserts palette. And then I'm not using any primer or anything, so we'll just swatch. So Sweet, Tasty, Sorbet, Smoke, Revenge, Cake, Cone, Sparkle, Mood, Mojito, Cherry, Ganache. So here they all are swatched out. I'm not the best at swatching, so I do apologize. I think they all swatched, honestly, pretty freaking well. It's so hard to look at my swatches. I don't think any of them look patchy. One thing I also wanted to talk to you about, so I want to go ahead and kind of play around with the shimmers to see if I feel like any of them are putty. So I feel like Revenge, and then if you're not really familiar, putty kind of is just when the shade can move around. I know some people have issues with creasing, so I do want to make sure that I am being, just letting you know. So I would say Revenge, which is this shade, does move around. Cake as well does move around. Cake feels like a bit more moving around. It's weird. These, it's like they move around, but you almost feel like you have to like push to move them around. But they do press back together. So, like, it doesn't feel super emollient, especially the Cake shade. Cone does not feel emollient, like, at all. Like, again, you could probably push it, like, indent it a little bit. But this one feels a lot more harder pan. It's like that type of shimmer that's just like a light sheen. Probably barely even see that because my lighting, I apologize. Lighting is darker. Hopefully that helps. That helps like a little bit, not much. This shade though is just kind of meant to be like brightness. And then last is Sparkle, which I would say is kind of that putty. These are not overly putty though. So if you do by chance get this palette, I would not worry. So that is Just Dessert. Let's go ahead and swatch Vampy Treats. Vampy Treats. Keep messing that one up. So if you're not familiar, this is the color scheme of this one. It is upside down. I just want the mirror to blind you. So starting off first, we have Truffle, Custard, Berry, Mist. I feel like Truffle and Berry kind of look crappy. So let's try to build those two up. In my experience playing with both these palettes with this like kind of sequin black shade, they do build up really well. And then Berry as well should be able to build up pretty well. It's not swatching great. I think it works pretty well though, if I remember correctly. You'll see, because I'm pretty sure he's in one of the looks. Twilight, Yum, Nightfall, Bloom, Wine, Grungy, Matcha, and Vampy. Alright, and this is all of these shade swatch. So, again, same kind of situation. All the ones that I played with have built up fine. The only one that's swatching the worst is Berry, but I think that might just be the swatch. I've used this shade definitely a good amount of time, so I think I might have, need to do that, like, tape method to get some of that overcast. Like, I've swatched it a little bit too much. The shimmers, again, I'm going to say kind of the similar thing that I did the first time around. Feeling them, I don't feel like any of them feel overly emollient. They can, be slightly moved around, except for the shade Nightfalls. Just keep that in mind if that is something that you do not like. So for look number 1, we're dipping in with the Vampy Treats palette, or Vampy Treat palette. And I'm just going to start off with the shade Truffle. And I'm just going to start by running that along my bottom lower lash line into my outer V area. If you're not new, or if you're new to my channel, usually for me how I do my outer V is I will stop where that colored part of my eye is. Switching over to a slightly larger brush just to bring the shadow up to how far I want to. Usually I like to bring it somewhat into the crease. Next I'm going to dip in with the shade Berry. Starting off just by buffing this into the crease. And then to build up some pigment, I'll start by stamping and buffing. I'm not going to worry too much, because as you see on this other side, we did take our shimmer quite high. We are using this shade to lay down, I would say, more of a base so that we get this really pretty colored effect. Taking our same shade, I'm just going to take it all around the shape. For the bottom lash line, I am just taking a pencil brush to apply that berry shade. I'm not going to take it quite all the way in. I'm just going to save some space where like my tear duct area is, or I guess inner corner of the eye is. And then I'm also just with the same pencil brush, just going to run some of that berry shade along our black. Next, I'm just going in with a clean, fluffy brush just to soften any of the harsh edges. With blending, you will lose some definition, so I'm just going to go ahead and take back a little bit more of our berry shade just to re-intensify the blue, and a little bit more truffle to re-intensify the black. I'm going to tiptoe a teeny bit of the truffle shade into our crease, but I don't want too much because I don't want the blue to become kind of muddy. I want it to stay pretty true blue. Next, I'm just going to take any glitter glue. Funny enough, I'm actually using one from Ladybug Glow that unfortunately looks like it's discontinued. I know that they have a pretty good relationship with Gourmand Girls, and I know that Gourmand Girls does also have one, so I'm almost wondering if it's the same formula. Now, don't quote me on it, I haven't tried it yet, but that would be kind of cool. I'm going to take the same brush a little bit underneath. And I also really want to focus some into our inner corner. So I'm just wiping off my brush just to get rid of any excess like glitter glue. I'm going to go ahead and dip into this gorgeous shade Yum. And I'm just going to apply that mainly into the center. So that color part of our eye. And I'm going to have it slightly overlapping with the black. Usually I'll do that just to get a nice base down, and then I will go back in with my finger to really intensify that shimmer. And then if you can see it's not blended right now, don't worry. We will blend it in just a second. But I'm going to go ahead and take this gorgeous shade Nightfall. This is one of those shades that is super transformative. Like it has like this almost white, bluey, purpley cast. I love when brands include a shade like this because you can just add it and it really just transforms a look. It's so... So just going in with a blending brush just to soften the sharp line of my shimmers. So it's more kind of this glowy kind of vibe. I'm just going to go ahead off camera, take my flat brush and do the two shimmers on the lower lash line. Alright, we are back. I went ahead and just took a little bit of the truffle shade, that black, to use kind of like a little liner. You can't really see it, but I think it still adds a nice little pop, but this is our finished look. I think it looks really pretty. I love the blue. It's so, I don't know if it's like blue purple, maybe. It's just really pretty. So excited to play with our next look. But first, if you are curious for what I have on the rest of my face, so my lips, I'm still in love with this lipstick from Black Bean Cosmetics. It's in the shade Sorrow. It's like a shiny metallic blue. For my cheeks, again, I keep loving this product way too much. Chest of Souls from Glam Light. It is this like peachy pink shade. Such a good one. And then my new tried and true mascara is the Essence I Love Extreme Crazy Volume Waterproof. Yeah. And that is all that I have on my face. Let's go ahead and dive into our next look where we'll be playing with the Just Desserts palette. So for this look, we're just going to be playing with the Just Desserts palette. I know it's kind of hard to see the writing, but I really love this one, the colorfulness and all of that. So I'm mainly going to start off with the shade Ganache. I'm going to start by running a little bit of that underneath my lower lash line. I'm just focusing that mainly into my outer corner. I really want to keep this look pretty simple and really just focus on these gorgeous duochrome shimmers. So next I'm going to go ahead and dip in with the shade Sorbet. And this is going to be our predominant shade that we are using today. I'm just going to buff that throughout my crease. I'm not going to take it all the way into the eye. I do want to just kind of keep that blank. And then I'm going to start by softening around our edges. Working some underneath the eye. Just taking a clean fluffy brush, I'm just going to go around all the edges to make sure to soften everything out. Now we need to go in with these super fun duochrome shimmers in the center. So I will be using all but this white one because I did use that when I did my Eyescream Beauty Box like subscription thing. So definitely check that out if you missed that video. But I'm going to go ahead and start off with this shade Cake. Now what I find very interesting about this shade is, to me, it has like a reddish orangey kind of look. but I feel like to you it looks kind of gold, almost. So originally when I put it on my eye, I thought it was going to be, like, more pinky, but it's a really interesting shade, and I feel like it looks like it's not going to work, but you can see on this side, it does work. Going in with this gorgeous shade Revenge, I'm going to tap that kind of in our outer corner. Not quite, but basically where our eyelid meets our outer corner. I just love the sparkle of this one. It's... ooh. Ladybug Glow Shimmers, seriously, are some of my favorites. They're always so good. And then I'm going to take this fun shade, which is called Sparkle, which I feel like you can definitely see this, like, emeraldy green kind of thing. I hope you can see the flip a bit. It's like, it looks bluey to me, but when I put it on my eye, it's just such a really pretty, I don't even know how to describe it, mermaidy type shade, and I'm just placing that between our first and second shades. I'm going to go ahead and take our blending brush that we used originally, just to go around the edges of the shimmers. I just really like to do this to just soften them and make them not look too harsh. Here we are for the complete look. I think this turned out really pretty. Super loving this palette, and these shimmers literally are so freaking good. Just want to talk you through the rest of the details that are on my face. I don't know if you can see, I did take the black shade Tasty just as like a liner for the top. I've actually been loving to do that. I think it's really easy. Mascara is going to be the same for a really long time, so it's Essence. I love Extreme Crazy Volume. Waterproof. Just such a really good mascara. Super new discovery that I really love. This is a blush by Moonslice. It's a liquid blush. I can't find the name. This came in an Ice Cream beauty box a couple of months ago, so yeah, I really like that for a nice liquid blush. And then for my lipstick, you know I love a nice black lipstick, so this is Cricket by Menagerie Cosmetics. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the next look. So I'm super excited about that one, because we are going to combine Vampy Treats and Just Desserts together. So super stoked for that. Alright, so welcome to look number 3. As you can see, I went ahead and did kind of this more greeny eye. I think it looks super pretty, and this is going to be the look where I'm combining both of the palettes. So I am going to be starting off with Just Dessert and taking the shade Mood. Using a Blend Bunny B4 brush, I am just going to take that all the way underneath my lash line. I will be taking my time just to build up this shade. I think I'm going to stop like where this inner color part of my eye is. I'm just going to go back and stamp to get that color up. Go ahead and wing out our shape. And then something that I decided to do a little different with this look than I normally do is I'm actually really just going to focus the shimmer like on my lid. Usually I kind of buff it all out. So to start that, I really want to keep my deep shade in my crease. It's like hard with filming because I can't have my mirror completely blocking you, but I'm doing my best to look straight ahead and put our shade Mood in the crease. And I'm going to take it to the exact same spot that I did on the bottom lash line, and then doing the same thing of mapping out the color first, and then I will just go back in and stamp on to build up our pigmentation. Filling in our outer corner, stopping at that outer colored part of the eye. And then I'm going to switch over to the shade Smoke with the Blend Bunny B5 brush. This shade I'm going to tap pop because it is quite pigmented. I'm going to start off by filling in like our inner part. I am going to leave just a little bit of space just on that absolute inner part of the eye, just because we are going to add a shimmer there. And then I'm just going to take the shade all around the shade. Now, because this shade is so pigmented, we might need to go back with our original darker shade Mood just to re-intensify. Switching over, I'm going to go ahead and dip into Vampy Treats palette, taking the shade Matcha. I'm just taking this big fluffy brush. This is by Morphe M441. I'm just going to take that shade and go around the edges. And as you see, super easy. We are basically already done with our mattes. This formula blends out so easy. I'm going to go ahead and dip back in with our other palette, so Just Desserts, and I'm going to go ahead and take this shade Cone, which is kind of like a duochrome. I noticed when I swatched it out that it does have some like grainy kind of looks to it, so I really want to take that shade and just apply it to the inner corner. I appreciate that this shade just gives brightness, so I think that if you really like shimmers but don't want something too like over the top, this in my head is perfect. It just adds brightness, but you know I'm me, and I like having a bright shimmer. So I'm going to hop back over to Vampy Treats and dip in with the shade Twilight. I did not say the brush I'm using is the Morphe M166. And then I'm just going to take this shade all over my eyelid. Normally, I will use my finger, but I don't feel like I need to for this look. And then I'm not using a base besides my regular eyeshadow primer. I'm just gonna kind of take it up into the crease, but really not much. I really want this shade to be focused on the lid. It looks so pretty. Just to re-intensify a little bit, I'm gonna go back in with original Blend Bunny B4 brush and our other palette, the Just Desserts, dipping back in with Mood, just to make sure that we're not losing any of that intensity in our crease, and also to kind of help make sure our shimmer does not get too high. Too easy for me to do that. Okay, let me go ahead, pop on mascara and liner real quick. So the liner I'm using is Essence Super Precise Eyeliner. I'm trying it out. It's a long-lasting waterproof eyeliner. And then mascara is my same old I Love Extreme Crazy Volume waterproof. Alright, here we are for the end of look number 3 using these 2 gorgeous palettes. I am so happy that I picked these up. I think that these work super well. So definitely let me know down below what you thought of these palettes. I think they're honestly really good quality. For what I've tried from Ladybug Glow, these are seriously top notch. And I'm very happy that I did pick both of these up. I do have some other palettes from Ladybug Glow that I will be playing with in the future in shorts, so definitely subscribe and look out for that if you want to see that. I also realized I forgot to say my liquid lip is from Notoriously Morbid. It is the shade Wicked Fiend. So pretty. I love a nice dark green shade. But I think that is everything I wanted to talk about in today's video, so go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Let me know down below what you think of this video, and I will see you in my next one. Okay, bye!